Facebook until you go live, right?
Hey, friends, welcome. It's your friends Lisa Mason Ziegler and Dave Dowling. Hey, Dave.
Hi, Lisa. How you doing today?
I am good. I'm good. So, friends, if you're this, is this, if I can't even speak, y'all, it's all the Christmas cookies. If this is your first time with us, I am in Southeastern Virginia, even though it may sound like I'm in Georgia. And Dave, where are you?
I'm in Southwest Delaware, right at the very bottom corner of the state. Originally from Maryland, but live in Delaware now.
Awesome. And so Dave and I are flower farmers. We've been friends and peers for almost over 20 years now. And we're really glad that you guys are joining us here. And we would love it if you would like and share this broadcast. That's what helps us find new friends and really just makes all the platforms really, really happy. And if you are one of our students, we always absolutely love it when you guys post all the sunflower emojis. That's what identifies you as one of our students or any of our online course students. That means you're kind of like part of our family. And so, first off, Dave, what's the weather like in Delaware?
It's feels like late fall, not quite winter yet. It was 45 today. We had so much rain over Sunday. I think you probably had it down there too, where it
Yes.
flooded. It looked like I had a lakefront house for a couple of days until the water
Did
soaked
you
in.
really?
Get the amount of rain.
We're about the same. I mean, it's nice and cool here. This is great, cool flower wedding,
Yes.
weather, and we're ready for some deep cold so I can stop messing around in the garden, you know? All right, friends. So tonight we are here to talk about Dave's course. It's one in the series of three of our Flower Farm and School online courses. And Dave's course is bulbs, perennials, woodies, and more. And it's really a significant piece of the flower farming pie, right, Dave? I mean, it's like after you kind of get your boots on the ground and start knowing how to run a farm and you get some customers going, it's time to just expand your offering, right?
Right, because perennials and bulbs and the woodies, they add a whole nother group of crops that you can grow and sell to your customers. And the more things you have to offer, the more you're going to sell to the same customers. It's not like you have to go out and get a whole bunch of new customers because you're growing more variety. Just the customers you have, especially florists, will buy more of the stuff you're offering.
It's true. I mean, we know that like 20% of your customers buy
Right.
80% of what
Yep.
you're selling, and that's in all businesses in general. And we know here at the Gardener's Workshop, I mean, people that take one of our courses, I mean, over a couple, 3 years, they end up taking all of our courses, you know? So it's cheaper to sell more to the same customer at like a florist shop than
Right.
it is to go out and find another florist to sell to, right?
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. That you don't have to have 50 florists to sell to. You just need five really good ones to buy a
And
lot of
that's the
stuff.
honest truth.
Yep.
Um, so, Dave, before we dive into talking about this free bonus, is what I really wanted us to hit on tonight because it's the special offer ends at midnight tonight. And y'all, I'm telling you, these are like the cheat sheets of a lifetime. I've clipped them together so I don't lose any of them. It's actually like 13 pages, these are front and back. And we'll talk more about those. But, Dave, give us a rundown on why you are the expert that you are in this field.
Well, I had a cut flower farm in Maryland for 20 years. Started about the same time as you, maybe a year or two earlier, pre-internet, pre-Google, pre all that. You had to learn on your own or try and find a book in the library, maybe. Um, Went to lots of conferences and meetings and just learned all I could about cut flowers. Grew them like crazy for 20 years, both in tunnels and greenhouses. I grew year round. Sold at farmers markets throughout the winter, and also in the summertime. Sold to florists. Sold to Whole Foods for a while. Um, Dabbled in weddings, so that wasn't my favorite thing to do. So I stopped doing that. That's a whole different line of work. If you want to do weddings, it's great.
Another can of worms is the way I like to say it, although it's good, but
It can be great if you like to do them and it works for you. Um, then it's been 10 years ago, I went to work for Edney Flower Bulbs, selling flower bulbs to cut flower growers. And then they got bought by Fred Glockner Company. So then I started selling plugs and liners and seeds and plants to cut flower growers. And then it's been 3 years now that Ball Seed bought Glockner. So I've worked for Ball Seed in their Color Link division for the past 3 years, working with growers all across the country, with their bulbs, perennials, seeds, plugs, and that kind of stuff. And I've was the past president of the ASCFG, the Association of Specialty Cut Flower Growers, for a total of 7 years president, 3 years on the regional director, another couple of years as a industry liaison. I think it was 15 years altogether I was on the board, a long time.
A long time.
It was a long time. It was great organization to be part of, and it's amazing how well it's grown in the past 10 years. But then I also did the class with you, and I also give presentations and speak quite a bit. Actually, last month, early November, I went up to Alaska to give a presentation at a farm conference up there just about plugs and why it's a great idea to grow things from plugs, because especially in Alaska, you don't want to start a greenhouse up in February when it's dark and no light to try and grow something. Have the plugs shipped into you in June when it's time to plant them.
Awesome, Dave. Well, thank you. And so, Dave, let's just talk about your course. I'm just going to first give it just a couple of little facts for people. So the course costs $695. And friends, I am here to give you firsthand experience. That is a BB in the Astrodome to save what you will save by averting mistakes, right, Dave? I mean, the fact for you to say, hey, don't go that way, go this way is
don't go that, go this. Right.
And the varieties. And I mean, we've just heard stories over and over again. So the course is $695. And Dave has put together a bonus quick reference guide. We're calling it Dave's Quick Reference Guide. And it is on, wait till y'all hear this. So this is Peony Growing 101, Lilies of the Field and Greenhouses and Tunnels, gladiolus production, and overwintering eucalyptus. And y'all, he in here is telling what varieties, what sizes, what planting. This is something you could sit down on a quick reference, look at, and place your orders, right, Dave?
Yeah, and save them for future reference when you're planting and harvesting those crops.
Oh yeah, because it does. Thank you for saying that. It does include tunnel production, potted peonies, garden peonies, how to feed them, his top varieties. So this is a bonus guide that is not in the course. This was emailed to all of Dave's students, current students, on Sunday. So if you are already a student, just go check your inbox, and it was sent on Sunday. But when you purchase and enroll in Dave's course this week, and it ends tonight at midnight, you get this PDF download. And one of them is Big Money High Tunnel Crops. Y'all, I have to tell you that, Dave, when you were growing, this was your sole income, correct?
For almost 20 years. That's all the money I had came from flower farming. Yes.
Yep. And, I want to say that I was preparing a bunch of posts today. And I wrote it on the back here. The truth about flower farming business. There's two truths that I have learned about flower farming business. One is that it works.
Yeah, it definitely can work.
Two, you give up before it works. That is what happens. And I would say that's true in any business.
Yeah. And it is work. It's not going out and playing in the garden on a Saturday afternoon. It's a 9-to-5 job.
It's a business.
Yeah, it's like running a business, whether it's a restaurant, farm, or a shoe store. You got to work at it to make it work.
Right. So, and speaking of business, one thing that our good friend Wanda of Fox Hollow Peonies up in Alaska always chimes in when she joins our lives, which she's a frequent flyer in here. She's taken all of our courses. She reminds everybody, and Jesse even wrote it on my show notes, that if you have started your business, then this is a valid business expense.
Yes.
And I mean, this is continuing education. And I mean, there's no wishy-washy. I'm not a CPA, but that's a pretty flat and dry opportunity for a tax deduction. So, after, you've gotten their farm up and running, Dave. We already talked about just how beneficial it is to actually expand your horizons with all this stuff. So I just want to tell them what's in the course, and then I want you to talk about how you recommend they slowly chop away at this. So there's in Dave's course, and Dave's course, by the way, is set up like an encyclopedia. And that is literally on purpose. So that way, When you're working with lilies, you can go right in and go right to the lily session. You can go in for tulips. And so there are 86 video sessions. There are 70 different flower crops. The frequently asked questions are keyword searchable. So that means you can put in lily or tulip or whatever, and it's going to bring up everywhere that is mentioned. There are also 5 bonus webinars, and I had forgotten about those, Dave. I'm on your page. Really, they have really done a great job on our course pages. There is just so much great information in there. So I'm trying to get down. So there's exclusive bonuses, and the webinars that Dave has done that we have included in this course there's actually more than 5, it looks like to me. Peony planting, harvesting, and selling. Making farmers markets fun and profitable. That was a really good one. Farm hacks. I remember when that was born wasn't it the 20th anniversary of the ASCFG, or it was some special year, and it was Dave's Farm Hacks, and there were so many great ones in there. Anyway, so that's included. Planting perennial plugs in spring. Success with succession planting. Y'all, this is really, as I'm reading this, I'm thinking we're really including all this with this course. Growing more, expand your business. How much should I plant? Selling to florists this season with Ellen Frost. Ellen, our good friend, the local florist that only uses local sourcing. Spring planted perennial plugs and grow these top perennial cut flowers. Y'all, those are all in addition to the content of his course.
Right.
I mean, that is just pretty dadgum amazing. So there's also 24 printable handouts, and we just have a lot of great information. So Dave, how do you recommend somebody tackle your course and do it in bite-sized pieces?
Right. Well, one thing, I think there's over 30 perennials included in addition to the bulbs and the woodies, is you never want to try and grow 30 new varieties all at once the first year you get the course. Pick 1 or 2 every year and add it as you go. Get those planted, get them established, get them productive. I always say start with peonies. As soon as you can afford to buy some peonies, get some peonies planted, because they're going to make money for you the rest of your life. The worst thing I hear is when somebody's been farming for 8 or 9 years now, they're just now finally picking, getting ready to buy their peonies. It's like they've lost 5 or 6 years worth of income that they could have had either to pay for vacation, pay for retirement, pay for more infrastructure on the farm. It's just that peonies is something you want to get in as soon as you can afford them. And if you can't afford a whole lot at first, buy 20 or 50 every year until you got what you need. I always like to say 400 or 500 is not too many for a normal size farm. That's just like 1 or 2, husband or wife running the farm. That's what you want to aim for, 400 or 500 peonies. If you've got 5 or 6 employees and selling at grocery stores and 5 or 6 farmers markets and a bunch of florists, you might need 1,000 peony plants. But those are going to make money for you the rest of your life, year after year, as long as you maintain them. So always start with the peonies, but then pick the other perennials. You might want to do yarrow, or you might want to do sedum. Some of the easy ones that are hard to kill, they're always productive, as opposed to some of those that maybe not so much, a little more finicky, or things like the echinacea or the echinops or an eryngium aren't quite as big and showy. So you usually don't want to start with those. You want to start with the easy ones that are going to give you something. Often that same year, we mentioned a moment ago about planting perennial liners in the spring. There's some liners you can plant in March and April and pick flowers in July and August. It's not like you have to wait a year to get them.
And that's the information that's missing. You know what I mean? In the industry as a whole. I was reading somewhere the other day, it was a review somebody had written about your course. And what they were saying is that they were an avid gardener. It sounded like she kind of like had an estate kind of set up, And she said she took the course because she wanted to learn how to grow perennials, not a book just about perennials, but about specific perennials. Do you know what I mean? And this course does it. You get the down and dirty details on growing stuff that you will find nowhere else.
And it's all just cut flowers. It's not like if you go out and buy a perennial book, it's got hostas, ferns, things.
Exactly.
Cut flower. 3/4 of the book is stuff you're never going to need.
All right, so we have a couple of questions here that I want to ask. So Laura is asking, can you do this no matter where you live?
Yes, it doesn't matter if you're in Canada, US. We've had students at Miramar, which you had to look that up. It was over in Southeast Asia somewhere.
Yep.
I was amazed. This woman, I emailed back and forth with her, chatted on Facebook with her, and she used to have to drive several hours to sell her flowers, but she was making it work and had amazing flowers. She sent me pictures of stuff she was growing. Had students in New Zealand, Australia, so all over the world. So yes, it'll work for you. Some things you have to look at your zone and make sure that perennials can work in your area. If you're warmer, too warm, like zone 9 or 10, some perennials need that cold period, and some perennials can't take the cold, zone 3 and 4 in northern Canada and, the really cold winters. But on my class, I always mention what zone each plant is for, what it'll survive as far
Right.
as.
Right. So I had to answer this yesterday. Somebody asked on one of the posts I'd put about you that or maybe it was a live, that our classes are really made to not be for a specific area. They give you kind of the pieces of the equation and you fill in what your zone is and that type of, right? I mean, it's not for a specific area. All right, Dave. So the moral to the story is to start slow and steady, and to start with peonies. I know for me, with our bouquet program here on the farm, we have tons of cool flowers that are blooming in April and May out in the field, but we don't have many focal flowers because I don't grow anemones and ranunculus because I'm a field grower. And peonies save our life every single year. And my peonies were my grandma's. They were very mature roots, and we're so fortunate to have them. But I agree with you, Dave. I really did not pay attention. I didn't really know that back when I was first starting. So I think that's a priceless piece. So, all right. So a little bit about the courses and how they work.
One thing I would drop real quick is that planting plants. I said, do 25 or 50 peonies.
Yeah.
Perennial. You don't want to just go out and plant 5 perennials. You don't want 5 blocks or 5 sedum. You want to start at 50, 75, whatever, a tray of 50 plugs, 2 bags of 25 bare root. You want to get at least 50 of anything. If it's a really good plant, you might want 100 or 200 of them.
And that's a great point. And you want to know the real value in what you just said, Dave. How valuable is it to know that when you tell them you should plant 50 of this variety, this type of plant in this variety, it's a good cut flower and that it's going to grow, versus when you're sitting down and looking at the lists, it's so overwhelming.
It can be so confusing to look in a catalog that might be a perennial catalog. You see these beautiful close-up of the flower, but if you don't pay attention, that flower might only be 12 inches tall.
Exactly.
A lot of them are breeding for things like the phlox and monarda. It's all little short, bushy plants, not cut flower material. So
right.
You're buying stuff.
So, the moral to that story is, that it's kind of become my slogan is we don't know what we don't know.
Yep.
But I can tell you this, that I do know now. I call it the ignorance tax. And I don't mean ignorance in an ugly way. I mean, when we don't know and you spend money or even worse than money, valuable time, investing in stuff. I mean, it is so, not only does it discourage you and if you have people helping you, but it's your family. The people that want you to be successful are only going to ride the downer boat for so long. That's what I've counseled people that have talking about my husband is no longer willing to, listen to me, bellyache. I'm not growing or I'm not selling or whatever. And it was because she was kind of an island. She was out on her own, just trying to figure it out. And that is not the way to do business. All right. So back to a little bit about the courses for anybody that is not familiar. Our courses are 100% self-paced online learning. That means when you purchase the course, 100% of the course is in your library immediately, as well as if you purchase Dave's course before midnight tonight, you get these 13 pages of his quick reference guide on peonies, lilies, glads, overwintering eucalyptus, y'all. It is worth it just for that. I'm telling you, my overwintered eucalyptus, Dave, I just can't even tell you how many huge armfuls 10 feet of eucalyptus produced in its second year. I was so impressed.
Yeah.
Anyway, and so high tunnel crops that make big money. So this is the bonus. we made it for this week, that Dave made and is only being offered this week. It ends tonight at midnight. Dave's course is $695, and it's lifetime and immediate access, and it's lifetime unlimited. What in the heck does that mean? Particularly if you've never taken an online course. I can remember my fear when I took my first one. You just don't understand. Literally, it's this simple, y'all. Instead of picking up a book to read it, you pick up a device that has internet. You know your login user and password for your online library for our courses. You log in, and all of your online courses that you've purchased from us are right there. You can go in, poke around, watch, download, and print the handouts. And so there are also 25 printable handouts in Dave's course. And we spent about a year creating this powerful research tool. Everything, the frequently asked questions in Dave's course are keyword searchable. That means if you put in tulip, all the tulip mentions for all the frequently asked questions will come up. And here is a tip that I so use. I don't know about you, Dave, but when you're watching the videos in the course, and by the way, you can watch them on any device. We have an app. You can watch them on phone, tablets, or laptops, or desktop, obviously. And you can listen to them like a download. But so important to me is that you can actually speed up the video, but in Dave's case,
Slow
you
it
can
down.
slow it down.
I thought
I'm
that.
telling y'all, he spills the beans so fast that you can listen. I listen to him in 3/4 time. It's 0.75, I think. And you can listen to the courses or the sessions like podcasts while you're going down the road. And so, Dave, who should take this course?
Anybody who's a serious cut flower farmer who wants to make an income from growing cut flowers, highly recommend it for them. And even for somebody who just, like you mentioned earlier, someone had like an estate garden, a really big yard, a really big garden. They'd like to just play in the garden all the time and not necessarily just plant in the spring and walk away from it, but want to maintain it.
Right.
Garden. It's great for that. But I think just anybody, even if it's only your like first or second year growing, it's going to be really helpful for that. Or if you've been growing for 5 or 6 years, someone who hasn't really stepped into the perennials and woodies and bulbs, it'll help you understand those crops and get them added to your crop plan and increase your sales.
Yeah, and I tell you, Dave, the thing that I really appreciated, I can remember walking around your farm, the level of diversity that is added to the offering that you have to offer people, whether it's hydrangeas, woodies, or bulbs, or perennials. It is really pretty deep and wide. So Lee is asking, you just said don't plant less than 50 plants. How large of an area is this course recommending for growing space?
Well, some plants take up more room. I saw somebody else ask how much space to plant the 50 or 100 peonies. Figure peonies are going to take about 2 square feet per plant, maybe up to 3 square feet. So you figure you're going to put them too wide in a 30-inch bed. Every 2 feet, you're going to have a plant. But other things, I know people who have an urban garden, an urban farm. They grow and sell cut flowers, and they have about an acre or an acre and a half, and they just grow in all the yard and the backyard and all the property they have, other than the house itself, or I think they have a garage in there too. So it's not like you have to have 5 acres or 10 acres. To me, 5 acres is way too big.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It grows in a little bit, about an acre or so, I think your actual growing area is.
Yes.
When I was growing, I had about 3 acres I had in production. And with that 3 acres, you can be amazed how many flowers you can grow. I would say usually it's figure an acre per person that you can take care of that acre, plant, maintain, harvest, and sell. You need a person per acre.
And I think that's a really good indicator, and for me, because my whole property is less than 3 acres. And of course, my home is on it and some outbuildings. But, if space is not just unlimited to you, you can really strategically plan your landscaping. That's where all of our hydrangeas are. I call them a hydrangea grove. They're just tucked off back in a corner and produce tons of flowers for us.
Yeah, you could do it. The border of your property can be woody shrubs. Everything, the
Mhm.
curly
Yep.
ilex, hydrangeas, all that can go. Doesn't have to be in the growing field, but along the edge, along the fence or over the property line.
And so Patty's asking, how do you sign up? Well, great question, Patty. Jesse has put here in the comments the link straight to Dave's page, and also on Dave's product page on the course page. You can actually, at the very bottom of the page, you can request a sneak peek into Dave's course. And actually, it's a session that they'll email to you immediately, and it's his session on tulips. So you can kind of see how the course is. I think it's like 17 or 18 minutes or something like that. And it's just a great way to actually see a little bit of what the course is like. And I will tell you, friends, that one of the things that we are just experiencing we have thousands of students. And what we are hearing now, because now we're several years in, right? What we hear from students is how, when you first take the course, you're all pumped and you're taking it in and you get overwhelmed and you grow a few things. And then you kind of back off of the course a little bit while you're running your business. And then all of a sudden you realize, you know what? I think this is the year I'm going to add lilies. What did he say about that? And you can go back in and it's all still there, ready and waiting for you, right, Dave?
And the other thing you haven't mentioned is there's the private Facebook group that students are
yes.
in my class. There's hundreds and hundreds of people in there. You can ask questions. I also like to say, go in there and brag. Put pictures of the great stuff you're growing. Show off your flowers. But if you have a problem with something, whether your plant's not growing, you don't know what that bug is, that problem, or what's the best variety, or how it works with somebody else, just ask. Somebody else will probably have an answer for you, and if you need me to answer it, just tag me, and I'll jump in and answer your question for you.
Yeah, and so that's something we do want people to understand, is that if you have a question and you don't find the answer in the course content, go in there and look, rewatch the course session. And then if it's not there and you check the frequently asked questions through keyword search, it's still not answered, then go into the Facebook community and post your question. Oftentimes, there's other seasoned growers ahead of you that oftentimes, Dave, I find in my Facebook group, they'll answer before I can even get to it, and it's awesome. But you can tag him. So that means no question is going to go unanswered.
Plus, in the Facebook group, you can search. So if you want to know about winterberry holly, you can go in there and search winterberry holly and see who else has already talked about it.
And Jesse just flashed up another great resource. Is the Facebook group is also keyword searchable. So that means, and y'all, there are years of past posts in there. And let me tell you, if this was a class on marketing, we could not say this, because the bottom line is the information that we are teaching about growing cut flowers. Sure, there's a few little changes from year to year and maybe some new introductions, but the information is pretty set in stone. So you can go in there and search and look up what is actually going on. So Dave, we got to wrap it up here. So friends, I just want to again say that to get these bonus resources from Dave, which are 13 pages long. And I mean, what problems might I have with lilies? What are the costs? How to plant? I mean, it's really great, quick reference stuff. Great handout to put in your course handouts. So the course link is in the comments. You can always find it at thegardenersworkshop.com. And Dave's course is available year round, but we're offering this special bonus currently until midnight tonight, which would be December 21st of 2023. And friends, I can't highly recommend it enough. And go to the page and read what students are saying. And I even challenge you, if you can't decide, just post on social media. Has anybody learned from Dave Dowling? Dave Dowling is an amazing teacher. And one of the goals that we have here at the Gardener's Workshop about our courses is to be passionate teachers. And that's what's rooted in all of our courses. We spill all the beans, y'all. We're not holding anything back. So you're invited to join by midnight tonight. Then you can get in his class, get into his Facebook group immediately, and get your garden and your farm up and expanding this spring. Anything else you want to add, Dave, Jesse? Do I need to say anything else?
I don't have anything else other than that. If we didn't mention, there's a 7-day money back guarantee. If they sign
Oh,
up,
yeah, exactly.
you can cancel, you get money back, and we turn your service off, turn your access off.
So yeah, so there's the link, and you can always find it at the Gardener's Workshop. If you're watching this replay on YouTube, they normally have the comments like listed separately, so you can go over and look at those and get to the links. Remember, friends, at the bottom of his sales page, you can sign up to get the tulip session sent to you as a little test drive. But if you want to get those handouts, be sure that you enroll by tonight. And so, Dave, thanks so much for joining me here. And we're actually going to jump over on Instagram for anybody that wants to join us over there. And so thank you so much, Janet. So Janet's one of your students, Dave.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I recognize the name. Good.
So thank you so much. And yeah, I think that we will head over to Instagram now. And thank you all, flower friends, for joining us. And we hope to see you on the inside of Flower Farming School someday soon, if you're not already a student. Ciao, everybody.